And we are live.
Welcome, everyone, to your regularly scheduled program of Couch Theater. Theme song.
Amazing.
I am your host, Raphael, and with me is your other host,
Sam.
and we are here to talk to you about the latest movie that is sweeping the nation, Army of the Dead. Sam, going into this, I had heard that this was the new Oscar-winning movie.
Did you?
That's what I heard.
It's-
Oscars will be won by this movie.
Which Oscars?
The one. Best
Picture?
zombie picture of 2021. Is that a category?
I wonder if there are other zombie movies.
I'm sure there are just a bunch of B movies that no one has noticed.
Yeah,
But
fair
this
enough.
one is by Zack Snyder, so everyone's gonna notice it.
Well, as we're going to talk about, I don't even know if this is classified as a zombie movie.
Yeah, it definitely takes some liberties. Perhaps not the most liberties. Now, don't forget, I don't know if you ever saw Warm Bodies, but that was the one where the zombies, once they felt love, could become humans again. So I think this one is a little bit more into zombie territory than that.
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if they're aliens. And are even these zombies, all the zombies, actually even biological?
That's a great question. So at the start of the movie, they are the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and a wonderful name. Just anytime you're hoping to name it anything, just give it a terrible name like that. Something that's just begging for things to go wrong. Those guys are moving this payload of some sort, and
From
then-
Area 51.
from Area 51, which is the place known for aliens. So we can assume it's an alien-ish, maybe, even though this is a zombie movie. And then, of course, they get into an accident that's very explodey because someone's distracted driving.
That's one word for that.
Yeah, maybe don't get a while driving. Especially at night, just as a rule, a thing not to do. I would not recommend this. So that explodes, and then this zombie thing gets out. How did they trap this thing in the first place? That's my question. Because it comes out, and I think they're shooting it. They are shooting it. They're hitting it. They're not shooting it in the head, obviously, because they don't know that yet. But they're hitting it, and it's just ignoring the damage.
I don't really know. I don't even see any bullet wounds. So
Yeah.
I think he was super fast. If you noticed in the action, he was moving left and right a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he was dodging the bullets.
That does help people avoid things when you move in a zigzag pattern. I felt that was useful. So he either tanks the bullets or dodges the bullet, doesn't matter. He
Yeah.
kills them all, and then they go to Vegas, and boom, the movie starts. Yeah, I think it's very possible that I don't actually think that's what Snyder was going for, because we watched the behind the scenes thing a bit, and at no point did they ever mention anything about aliens. So I don't think that's what he was going for, but I think the movie he presented us kind of implies that it's not actually zombies, but more some alien thing that has infected people, maybe some parasite.
Yeah, like Venom kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to believe that maybe because there's the blue. Unborn baby has a blue tint to his brain, and
Yeah.
when the guy dies, the
There's
alpha dies.
little
The blue.
blue sparkles flying around.
Whereas, by the way, we have spoilers.
Oh, if you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing here? Get out, please. We haven't spoiled anything important. The bad guy dies in the end.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You should know that. What else happens in this movie? So then we have this opening crawl. Do we want to do like an overview of the movie, or do we just want to dive in?
I'm still stuck at the beginning now that you mention it. Because you mentioned payload, but where was it going?
Yeah, I
Where-
have a question.
Where do we possibly want that thing to go?
Area 51 sounds about as secure a place for this thing to be, as if you ask me. So I don't know where they're moving it, what they're doing. Presumably, I mean, I guess based on other things in the movie, maybe they're taking this somewhere else for other research. But again, why would you not just do that research
Yeah.
in Area 51? And how did they capture this thing? Aren't they? I guess.
Well, if it was like a parasite from space,
Mhm.
maybe it infected the dude, and they within the 51 area,
Yeah.
and it just stayed there and was captured. You know.
I guess they never demonstrated any like super strength to like break through walls or anything like that. So you could relatively easily put one in the cage.
Yeah, maybe they sedated him, and then didn't think about sedating him long term. These are possibilities. The movie definitely depicts the government not operating smoothly. A guy in a parachute goes lands in the middle of the zombie horde. The president, who seems to have similar wordings to a previous president we had recently, said that nuking a town is somehow
cool. Well, I think the exact words were, "We will do it on a holiday. It will
July
be
4th.
July 4th, so it will be kind of cool. It will be like fireworks. It will be kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's even kind of patriotic."
If I had watched a president in a movie say that 10 years ago, I wouldn't believe it.
I'd be like, this is absolutely unreal. No one could ever talk like this. But this is the day and age we live in now. I guess while we're talking about the zombies, at this point, I'm completely convinced this is just an error in editing. There's once or twice where they kill a zombie and you can clearly see it's robotic. Like it has blue eyes, you shoot it, there's like sparks of robot bits under it, unless we're both blind somehow and are seeing what's not there. Those were robot zombies, but no point in the movie is that mentioned. No point in the behind the scenes is that even remotely talked about. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure they just had animatronics and like we're supposed to edit around this and missed a scene or two.
It looked like CGI to me, not animatronics.
CGI? But why would they then randomly start adding effects that they have not been using?
This is the question. They obviously, so it looks like CGI, and if I'm correct, that means they put the effort to do this. That can't be a mistake. No one's like, oops, I accidentally added
I copied the
robot CGI into a zombie movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
unless there's a copy-paste from a alien, like, robot AI movie, like...
Yeah, I mean,
accidentally.
I'm sure there's a lot of copy-pasting in CGI. They just, apply this effect from this thing, and then they just did it wrong. Could be. I guess we could look it up. Maybe someone has answered this question already.
We should find that out.
On a different podcast. Tune back in.
If it's true that that's on purpose, does that suggest that there are parties who intentionally made this happen somehow?
Well, it would suggest that somehow those the zombies had created robot zombies. That's what it would suggest.
An alpha scientist.
One of the zombies that was trapped in there was the scientist, and he got bored, and he started... because, the most useless kind of robot to make is a zombie robot. Why is this robot a zombie?
Like, biting... It won't even infect anyone, right?
It's a robot. There was also the zombie horse, and there was a zombie tiger. Those were cool.
Cool, and when you think about it, I think also expected from a Zack Snyder movie.
They were expected. I saw the zombie tiger and I was like, this thing probably is going to have one scene that's kind of gratuitous and is here for no other reason than to be a zombie tiger. And you know what? I'm fine with that.
It did its job. It recreated the Revenant bear scene. It did its job.
No, it did not. That would make this movie Oscar worthy.
There are definitely a lot of new evolutions, so to speak, I guess, to the zombies, because you had your typical just walking zombies, and then
the shamblers, as they started calling them.
And then Zack Snyder revolutionized that, I think, in Dawn of the Dead, with running zombies and a more kind of like violent zombie.
Yeah.
And now he decides to go and create animal zombies and smart zombies.
Yes. Smart.
And robot zombies.
Potentially accidental robot zombies.
Also in quotes, I suppose.
Yeah. The shamblers were boring. I guess, I mean, they're zombies. I think they're even more boring than regular zombies.
Well, I mean, he added a new feature to them, which is that they hibernate.
That's pretty normal though for zombies. I think I see a lot of zombie movies where like when there's no humans around, they just sort of don't do anything.
I have a second piece of new thing for you then.
What?
Which also never happened, but was hinted at.
Okay.
With the zombies drying up and then coming back to life when it rains.
Yes. So the zombies, for some reason, the Shamblers specifically, not the other ones, dry out in the sun, and then when it rains, they get wetted out. They get filled back up. They come back to life.
The human is 70% water, Raph.
Yes.
That's what I have to tell you.
And so is the zombie. That was an interesting bit of trivia that was put in there. And as you know, the classic rule of films, Chekhov's gun. If you introduce a gun in the first act, be sure never to use that gun by the end. Because that did not come up again. Was not remotely relevant at all.
Here's an idea. Have a good idea and not do it.
Yeah, because he could have. When he said that, I just imagined, there's gonna be some intense scene where they're running around or something, and then they're running through a horde of shambled, desiccated zombies. It's gonna start raining, and then it's like that's gonna happen, but it didn't. It did not happen. It was very disappointing, very confusing, mostly, and the other ones were just, I don't know. They seemed inconsistent, I guess. It was hard to tell which one was an alpha and which wasn't sometimes, because like with the main guy Zeus, you could always tell, obviously, and like the queen and the other ones, you could tell those ones they had a look, but some of the other ones, like when Maria, who's Dave Bautista, who plays Maria, Anna de la, doesn't matter who plays. I cannot pronounce her name. When that character dies, she and Scott have just had their moment. Yeah. They go to the elevator opens up, and then the zombie rushes out and just snaps her neck. I have so many questions there. The zombie moved so fast.
Man of Steel.
This is not Man of Steel.
The neck. Zack Snyder wanted to incorporate it.
I see. It makes perfect sense. But I'm wondering, like, did it move so fast that she couldn't react? Because the Shamblers have been pretty damn slow this entire movie. In fact, they've kind of been a joke. I guess they're a joke because the team we've sent in here is... Sorry about that. The team we've sent in here is kind of hyper competent. We've sent in an extremely competent group of people to deal with a situation. So when we meet the cannon fodder zombies, they're not a problem. But then they open the door and her neck just gets snapped because she doesn't react. It moves too fast. I don't know. But then immediately after that, he just, like Scott, just kills them all. So clearly they're still the same cannon fodder. So how did they kill her?
I think they're actually alphas.
You think they were alphas?
Yeah, because the last one was doing a lot of kung fu and parkour. Definitely that guy knew some stuff. I think that was like a task force, a zombie task force. A specialized unit created by the Alpha to take down people.
That's why it did not attempt to bite her, it just snapped her neck.
Huh.
Because that was also kind of confusing. I was like, why did it not try to eat her? It just killed her. So, I find it a bit wishy-washy, but whatever. Speaking of people getting killed by zombies, my favorite person in this movie, Chambers, also known as Bandana Chick, gets just... First of all, when people are in a dangerous situation and are acting like idiots, it's very annoying. I don't understand what the beef between... Clearly, corporate guy, I forget his name, Martin, was a from the start. He came in, he was wearing glasses, he had his chest hair showing. We're like, okay, we get it. You're a gotcha. Clearly, he was supposed to be some kind of antagonist, but like when they're like crawling through this zombie-infested place, maybe this is not the time to start spats? I don't know. It just seems like a stupid idea. And then he, tosses the glow stick to send it down the wrong path. Why? You are surrounded by zombies. She's also carrying useful fuel for the helicopter that's going to get you out of this place. Best case scenario, you're down some fuel and you've woken up some zombies. Worst case scenario, you've woken up some zombies, you're down some fuel, and now people know you're, a betrayer. it just doesn't seem like a good, smart idea. And then she just proceeds to kill zombies for the next 5 minutes. Like, she just doesn't get killed. She's just taking them out, killing them left, right, and center. You're like, oh, okay, how's it start? They start waking up, and then she like immediately knifes each one as they're waking up, and you're like, oh my gosh, she's so smart. And then too many of them start waking up, so she just starts shooting, and then you're like, okay, she's gonna go out in a blaze of glory. But then she keeps killing them. You're like, okay, she's gonna make it out. And then she gets to the door, and then he locks her in. You're like, okay, she's dead. And then like one of her guns is empty. You're like, okay, she's dead. And then like 30 seconds later, she smashes out of the window where everyone else is, still not dead or scratched, still killing zombies. You're like, holy this girl, she cannot be stopped. And then for whatever reason, they all just stand there like, oh no, she's surrounded by zombies. We can't help her. We have to watch her die. I'm like, what do you mean? She's done all the hard work. She's been killing them for the past 5 minutes. Just help her.
It was very contrived. Everything was fine. She can die. She put up a good fight. We loved the action. There was no need for her to have her final words be go to somebody. But we didn't need that.
I mean, specifically, I guess from a writing perspective, you wanted her to die so that what's his name, Mikey, I think his name was, the YouTuber.
Yeah.
You wanted the YouTuber to see her die so that it could have some sort of effect on him. You know, I watched my friend die, but he's such an irrelevant part of this movie. Actually, so much of this crew was so irrelevant.
He was completely fine.
He was completely fine. Like, he was laughing. He's like, "Hey, we're killing zombies." I mean, so like, and he's also not important to the plot at all. I just actually realized that he's not important to the plot at all. He doesn't do anything. Am I forgetting something? He doesn't do anything for the plot at all.
Hold on. Yeah, no, you're right.
So you basically, and because he doesn't do anything for the plot, she doesn't do anything for the plot. Actually, she does even more for the plot. She does more because she is the first time we see Martin be a So really, she should have just died when he trapped her in there. There was no reason for her to come out. It was a weird choice from a writing perspective. I don't understand why. Anyway.
Speaking of characters that weren't too relevant, the whole group was so big, man.
Yeah, it was too many people for a stealth operation.
Yeah.
Way too many. And the entire movie, I just wanted Scott's daughter, Kate, to die. I mean, she obviously wasn't going to die.
She had such a noble effort, Raph.
To do what, Sam?
She was basically the main character.
No.
She learned that sometimes you have to kill... She learned that her dad was...
not so bad a guy after all.
Yes.
Because her problem with her dad this entire time isn't that he stabbed her mother in the head, but that he was then emotionally distant after that. Something is very surprising after someone has to kill their wife. I too would be emotionally distant if I had to kill my wife, probably for a bit.
I don't know. It's so hard to figure out what the point of the movie was. When I first saw the trailer, I'm like, Army of the Dead, okay, cool. Zombie movie in Las Vegas. Okay, this has to do something about superficial desires, like going down to like basic desires that we as humans have, which Las Vegas, which kind of like represents Babylon and all that, like, you know, the money and all that.
Yeah.
Doesn't tackle that really, I don't think.
No. I mean, in some very maybe shallow way. Or not shallow, that's unfair. It does kind of. I mean, we mentioned this when we were watching the movie. Each of the people who get involved for a very different sum of money. So the big three, Scott, Maria, and Van der Rohe, are there for the $15 million, and then the pilots offered $2 million, and she's like, absolutely, I would do anything for $2 million. And then the safecracking guy,
the YouTuber is $500,000.
It's $500,000. He's like, absolutely, I'll risk my life for $500,000.
And the safecracking guy, who has the most important job,
is $250,000, and he's also like, yeah, 100%, I'm gonna risk my life for $250,000. And then Cummings, the best name for that guy, by the way, just no redeemable qualities whatsoever. They just introduced a character to be hated, but he's so comically hateable that I don't care. I'm just like, this is just a two-dimensional, I should hate him character. Anyway, he goes in there for $20,000, which is way too little money to risk your life, by the way.
All that leads up to the foreshadowing
that they are going after 200 million, but Tanaka doesn't even care about the 200 million. What he wants is like a live zombie, which can get him, billions or trillions of dollars. So they're all in there for different reasons, and in the end, no one even gets what they want. Greed is a deadly sin, I guess.
I did not get that far. Because if you actually look at all those characters, sure they went in for those money, but most of the characters actually didn't go in for the money, really, right?
Nope.
Like Scott went in for the money to give to his daughter straight up all of it, right?
Yeah.
He actually wasn't greedy. Maria didn't actually go for the money either. She went for Scott.
Yep.
Right? And what's the architect? Dieter. Yeah.
Dieter.
He really just went to,
He wanted to crack
the
the
safe.
Feels like there was a safer way to do that, but yeah.
Van went for, what's the word that you taught me? What's that new word I learned today? Cathartic.
He went for the cathartic release. So
yes.
There you go. I'm sure the money helps these people.
Yeah.
Cummings went for the 20 grand. YouTuber went for the 500 grand.
True.
Sure.
But they have no relevance to the plot.
Zero relevance.
To the more, yeah.
There is a lot of meandering. So I had a couple of questions about Coyote, who is the... Is she even offered any money? She isn't. They don't offer her any money, do they?
No. Well, I think Mr. Security Head dude, Mr. Sunglasses dude, is the guy who probably offered her money.
To go with them.
Because she knew about grabbing some blood sample, right?
Is that ever shown?
No, they don't show it. So they show initial discussion between him and her, and I think that
was after they were already in, because we meet the security guy, and then meet him with Takada when he's laying out the plan. Put a pin in that, by the way. And then they go to meet their Coyote. Then they go in. They're already past it. He meets her. He's like, you seem to know a lot. It's after she's talked about the zombies drying out and getting rained on, and talked about he's like, you seem to know a lot about this place. Presumably, sometime after that is when he gave her the plan, because that seems to be the first time they were meeting.
Yeah.
So I have questions about Coyote. First of all, I can assume based on what the movie's showing me, that she does not actually follow people into danger. She is just the one who gets you in there, and then it's because that's what happens to Gita and presumably other people. You have to get out on your own, and then she will help you get out, but she's not like running into danger with you. So what is the purpose of her? Because you know how she gets them in there? They open one of the... By the way, Las Vegas is walled up by a bunch of trailer trucks. Great stuff. I don't know how they put that in place without zombies getting out, but good job. She opens one of the trailer trucks and they walk through and they're in Las Vegas. I'm like, I don't think you needed this smuggler for this.
It had to be that one.
You don't need a smuggler for that. Just walk up and open. No one was guarding that place.
No one knows which one to open.
Anyone.
Raph.
I mean, I can understand her being more relevant, I guess, when the military had a bigger presence there before they decided to nuke this place. Maybe you need her help to sneak past some guards or something. But at this point in the movie, I'm like, why do you need this person when you can just walk through? Anyway, then she gets in and she immediately shoots Cummings in the leg to offer him as a sacrifice to the Alphas, so that they don't, they allow them to go in and get this thing, It's kind of like she says, it's playing by the rules. We're showing that we're subservient. So I have a great question. How many other people has she killed like this? Because this is normal. The way she goes about it seems like she's done this a couple times before. So I'm like, well, when the last group went in, who did you offer? Because if you didn't offer someone, how did you show you were subservient? Do you have other ways of showing that you're subservient? Do you just feel like killing this guy and there were actually 10 other ways you could have done about this? Because the moment she did that, I'm like, I just thought, do you kill someone every single time you go in here?
I'm very confused by the whole process.
And
there's other groups that went too, right?
Yeah.
It turns out that there were other groups that tried to get the 200 million, but she clearly...
They could have, gone in with using a different smuggler. It didn't have to have been her. But they're not even getting killed. They're being turned into alphas. So she's just been coming in here, feeding people to this zombie army. Who is this person and why is she making such terrible life decisions? So that part was creepy, and then she followed them, even though she wasn't getting any money. Even if she talked to Martins, I don't think he ever offered her anything.
He probably did.
He probably did,
and
I guess.
There was a deal. She said there's a deal. They mentioned a deal. It wasn't You don't need to know the exact number. It's just like there's a deal, you know.
But then they both end up betraying each other for seemingly no reason.
Would you trust that guy?
No, but like, why is he leaving her to die? So I hate this trope in general when people like backstab each other in high tension situations. Like, there are zombies all around us.
Mm-hmm.
I need to kill these zombies. I guess he thought he had the plane, but you still had to get through zombies to get to the helicopter anyway. There's zombies all around you. Can go wrong anytime. Why would you kill people who are helping you kill the zombies? You can just kill them after. Just kill them after you're out of the zombie-infested city.
He's meant to be unlikable, Raph. He's the second most unlikable guy. He wears sunglasses.
But then the even more confusing part is that she betrays him before he betrays her. She switches out the head for the money counting machine. Why? Why did she do that? Did she just decide, I can't trust this guy after all, I'm gonna double cross him? It's not explained. You just get a scene of her staring at the bag, and then later he opens the bag and you see it's not the head in there. So I'm like, why?
Yeah, I just feel like most of the characters are not a good character.
I understand that we're dealing with characters who are morally great at best. I just want what they're doing to make some sort of sense. Even if have some sort of internal logic or logic in general. And I feel like a lot of characters, they were lacking that. Maybe,
yeah, fair enough.
Maybe they're just not, maybe they have internal logic and it's just not meeting my standards. But yeah, I had problems with her. Okay, we could talk about Kate, the daughter who was a volunteer for something. I still don't know what, by the way.
She's so noble, Raph. If you only had 20 minutes left on the clock for a nuke to come and drop on you, what would you do? Would you go on a helicopter, or would you risk going all the way to another building that has 20, 30 flights of stairs in the slim chance that a person may or may not be alive, so that you can, on the slim chance, save them with, what is it again? Yes, you have nothing. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a great plan. I'll take it.
It's nobility.
That is what it is. Nobility, stupidity. Who can say? She is super frustrating. Not even in the normal way of like, oh, this character is making reckless decisions. Like, no. Like, you can understand someone being like, I want to, maybe your wife has fallen and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna, like, no, you can't help her or something, and then you run back in to try and save a loved one. No, she goes in. This is premeditated stupidity. She goes into this extremely dangerous situation, having no training whatsoever. She doesn't have any training, right? Like, I have to assume she doesn't.
I have to assume from her incredible aim to be able to shoot the head of a zombie from 20 feet away, spot on to the head, that she actually does have training, Raph. I'm going to have to disagree with you there.
I'm going to have to disagree with you because just 30 seconds earlier, from maybe 3 feet away, she missed the head of a zombie and instead shot him in the clavicle, allowing him to kill 2 of the 3 people she was trying to save.
I missed that spot.
Like, it's just dumb because she doesn't have a plan. And people are telling her, like, she mentions her friend Gita, who also deserved to die for being an idiot. And her dad's like, I will try to get them out if I have the time. Your dad, very capable man, is Dave Bautista. Look at him, look at the guns on this man. You're like, you can get the job done. You, no training whatsoever. She's like, I'm coming, you can't stop me. And even if you try to stop me, I'll just sneak in later. It's like, what? You just have a death wish? Who is this Gita person to you anyway? Actually, though, who is she to you? She's not your mom, she's not your sister. Like, how long have you known this person? A year? 2? What are you risking your life here for? And then they get in there, and then she's just being belligerent, and then she runs off to go save her. This is after they know that the nuke is coming in like 30 minutes. What is your escape plan? You're going to get to her? You're going to search this entire, like, how many floors does this building have? Yeah. You're going to search it. You're going to find her. Even if you find her in time, how are you getting out? Are you going to run to the edge of the city? There's a nuke coming.
I found it interesting how Scott mentioned to her, like, you know what? If you do something reckless, people here are going to die, and they have families, which means, because the whole reason she wanted to save them was to save so that, like, the kids wouldn't be in orphans, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, he pointed out, like, some of these people died, you will create more orphans. and she ended up being the orphan. Because of her actions,
Actually,
legit, her father died.
Yep.
Under no other circumstance, he would have
He
gotten
went
out.
back to the Olympus building to get her, and that's why he died.
His
And
words
that's-
were a warning on her because she became the orphan. Wow, that's so deep, man. She became the orphan.
It was actually pretty poetic. I thought that it started with him killing his wife, and his daughter killing him. You know, symmetry or something.
Yeah.
Her character was just like obnoxiously self-righteous and stupid the entire time. I mean, they had a couple nice ones. I will say this: I did enjoy. There were probably some down spots here and there, but I thought they were all pretty good performances, believable performances, even though some of the characters were very stupid.
I think the actors did well with what they were given. Overall, though, I think I have a hard time appreciating this new evolution, so to speak, of zombies. Giving these zombies ability to have emotion and complex desires.
You didn't like that the zombie had a wife and unborn child?
Being able to procreate.
Blue babies?
I feel like you're just create I could watch Planet of the Apes at that point. That's what I think. Zombies are supposed to be something that kind of gives you that simplicity, right? That one motivation of death.
They are like a very, I don't even know how to describe it. The people you know and love, human beings around you, basically turn into monsters. They're very visceral fear of oh my god, this is my dad. He's now a monster trying to kill me. This is my best friend who's a monster trying to kill me. No, this is my dad and that's my best friend. And they are now monsters, but also have a monster society.
You're just creating essentially a new species with options of not being killed by them, by having a cohabitation. If you leave them alone, maybe they'll leave you alone, kind of thing. It destroys the whole point of what Zack Snyder made zombies about in Dawn of the Dead. He kind of undid two decades ago.
And it's kind of like commentary of it, but it ends up just being kind of pointless because you introduce these zombies who are quote unquote smarter and have a society, are thinking, are able to negotiate, but you just nuke them all in the end. So what was the point? They could have just been mindless zombies. Some of them just could have been stronger. You just could have had stronger zombies that were equally mindless. They didn't have to have a society.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, action was good. I mean, we gotta hand it to him. He has an eye for what looks cool.
He does have.
He had that curtain moving in it reminded me of Superman's cape when it's about to fly.
The Mr. Zeus showing up all in black and white, and I was like, this is a Snyder movie. There we go. But there were some of the blurry cams, shaky cams. In the behind the scenes, he just said, I have this camera that has flaws and I wanted to just make a movie with it. Why?
Man, I love watching things I can't completely comprehend.
And he was like, I'm surprised the movie was as in focus as it was. I'm like, so what was your end game here? Were you just trying to give us a movie that was 120p or something?
I like the independence that Zack Snyder has, man, but I would also like to see a movie. I would like to see
my eyes kind of hurt in a bit there, because when it started, I was like, wow, this is like a movie. I haven't seen a movie a Snyder movie in so long that I guess Dawn of the Dead would have been the last one. He had
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
It was Sucker Punch. He had Sucker Punch, which was basically grayscale the entire time. Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, Watchmen, 300, they're all like this grayscale movie. And then I see this and I'm like, oh my god, there's color and everything. The people are making jokes and stuff. Is this a Snyder movie? And then just half the movie occurs in inside a building with barely any lighting. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm back to not being able to see anything for different reasons. And I also have, I guess more random nonsense about Coyote when she mentions, how does she know how their society works? About the whole subservience and the alphas and stuff. How did she know? Did she send regular letters to the zombies, their pen pals?
Years of observation is, I guess. Because the weird thing about it is it sounds like, I think there was a line that mentioned that this is actually 5-6 years after the outbreak.
Yeah.
So a lot of time has passed. I'm guessing maybe she even had a sidekick or something. I don't know. She figured things along the way and somehow never died.
Yeah. I don't know. And then, of course, at the end, everyone dies except for Kate. Actually, Vandero. Oh, we should talk about Vandero.
Oh, yeah, he did not technically die at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they leave it open for sequel bait, I guess. Maybe he doesn't kill himself and infects people on the plane, but hopefully he just smashes his head against the faucet and moves on. No, but I did enjoy the relationship between Vanity and Dieter. I mean, it was pretty, like, they didn't actually go into it, but it was like a nice little, they started off, didn't like each other.
Rocky.
And then by the end, he's like sacrificing himself. Not sure why he would sacrifice himself, because he could have just gone into the vault as well, but he sacrificed himself to save him.
Very cliche sacrifice, but we'll take it.
Yeah. It did leave me with a question, though, of how did Vandero get out? And however he got out, why did they not take that path to get in? Because it seemed to me like he came out of like some tunnel or something, some tunnel structure. Did no one know about this? Because if they did, you could just have one person go into the vault, get the money, and get out.
I also wonder if it would have been a better idea for everyone to just go in the vault.
Yeah.
During the new.
And what was Tanaka's plan? Because he wants the zombies. Why are you then sending people after the money? Dude, just send the people after the zombies.
Let me tell you, man. It was supposed to be easy squeezy Japanese. I don't know who says that, but that's what it was supposed to be.
Oh, that was...
In and out, super easy. The helicopter, no problems.
That was the most...
Moving $200 million of cash around, no problems, man. I
don't know what the point of that line was. It paused the movie for a solid 30 seconds for a saying that I'm pretty sure has never existed. I have never had anyone say easy peasy Japanese.
Maybe we're too old, man.
Anyway, speaking of Tanaka...
We're too young.
And his weirdly convoluted plan. Again, you could just send people in to get zombies. You can pay people to get zombies. You don't need to pay them to go get money and then double cross them to get zombies. This is unnecessarily convoluted. Just pay them to do what you want them to do. Anyway, why, for the love of God, did these people go in with a plan that was completely Tanaka's? Because he's the one who told them, you're going to go in, you're going to do this, you're going to get to the vault, there's going to be a chopper here. Why is the chopper necessary? Seems to me if you can get in, you can also get out without the chopper. That's point A. Point B, why isn't no one else... You guys are the ones who are executing this plan. You have no input whatsoever? You're just going to sit there and let this guy tell you what to do? Seems pretty weird to me. Basically, the entire premise from all of them going in was sketched and convoluted and contrived. In the end, it is a zombie movie, and I did not come there for extremely intricate plotting. So.
You know what? Maybe all of these questions will be answered in an extended edition or a sequel.
The original cut.
Zack Snyder cut. Or a sequel. I mean, there's so many unleft answers.
There is enough there for proper sequel bait if they want us. Speaking of pointless characters, I just remembered Gita, who was a person that Kate goes in there to save. An extremely to call her a damsel in distress would be an insult to damsels in distress. She has no purpose other than to make Kate be an idiot and also have no purpose. But after she gets saved, she's just not on screen.
I actually don't see her.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's there. I don't see her.
We don't see her die. We see her run away. I'm fairly certain I don't see her die. And they get on the chopper and just...
We don't see her yet.
Zeus jumps on the chopper with them. They're fighting. Not there. Chopper crashes, everything. Not there. They just forgot to film her for the rest of it. It was bizarre.
Well, do you have any final thoughts, Raph?
Do I have final thoughts about Army of the Dead? Chambers was badass. I wish more of the movie had just been people fighting zombies in like cool action scenes, which is kind of what I was expecting. Instead, I got this like thriller, family drama thing, heist zombie movie, which was okay, I guess. But then it just had a lot. I feel like the movie had a lot. How long was this movie? 2 hours or so?
Yeah, I felt like that.
It felt like it had a lot of chaff. Like this movie could have been a good 90-minute movie of just like action and fun. Instead, it was like this almost 2.5-hour thing with lots of like random branching plot lines and characters that were necessary and just felt bloated. Yeah, I felt like it needed maybe a couple more passes with the old axe just to trim out some fat. But overall, I wasn't not having fun while watching it.
I think it's a good group movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I
to watch with
think I'd be
friends.
pretty frustrated watching this on my own, but
Yeah.
get
If
some
you-
friends,
if
get
you
some
can talk
snacks.
about it, laugh about it here and there. Who would I recommend this
What
to?
kind of movie watcher would you say this is the movie for you?
I might not recommend it to people who like zombie movies.
For
the record-
the movie failed to them.
I would not recommend it for a zombie movie
Enthusiast.
professor. There is such a thing, by the way.
Wow.
Anyhow, so I probably wouldn't recommend it to that person. But if you have friends over and you don't want to spend 40 minutes going through Netflix and you just want to see some cool light with some little action, Dave Bautista, then, this is the
He's a
movie for you.
surprisingly good actor.
He is.
Yeah.
I hope we see more of him. A lot of people from wrestling have been going over and becoming pretty famous.
Yeah, overall, I guess it was a movie. It was fine. I didn't hate it.
You sound like you hated it.
I do sound like I hated it, but that's just because I'm confused most of the time. I find a lot of the choices that were made confusing. Not the good kind of confused. Not the like, oh, I'm curious as to where this is going. Just like, why did you make this seemingly obviously bad choice? But I'm not a professional director or writer or producer or cinematographer, so what do I know? Yeah, it was a movie. It was fine. It had a lot of problems. It's the twilight of zombie movies.
No. I did not see any sparkling except from the robot zombies, okay?
That man had a wife, and he was in love with her, and she had an unborn child who, after she got decapitated, the baby was going blue and then died, and then he was upset. I'm just saying, there was zombie love in there. That sounds like Twilight to me.
Army of the Dead, New Moon. That's the sequel you got right there. Well, folks, this has been a lovely time. I hope we've not wasted your time.
Be sure to
Yes.
like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe on Spotify, or I don't even know where.
I don't know where we're putting this. We'll put it somewhere. Probably. I don't know. Yeah. This has been Couch Theater. See you when we see you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye bye.